welcome to the Improv Summit. As always, I'm your host, Spencer, and with me today I have a very special guest. Now, I always say I have a special guest, so I have to change it up a little bit. So I've taken the old improv game where you take the first letter of your first name and you throw an adjective in front of it. And so I'm introducing all of my guests with an adjective and then their first name. So today with me I have, and I hope this adjective is a positive adjective because it's coming out because it's the first one I thought of. It's gregarious George.
It's a positive word. I was like,
Great. I don't even know what it means, but you're gregarious today.
I think it means like bold and brazen, but don't quote me on that.
Okay, great.
But yeah, it's a when you were detailing like how you nickname people, I was like trying to like the first letter of your first name.
Yeah.
Okay. And it like took me way too long to get to, oh, and that's just what he's gonna do.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I've learned I just start improvising the name like as I'm talking.
Sure.
So sometimes I come out with the word and I'm like, I don't know what word to say because I'm not thinking of it ahead of time. I literally do it in the moment. So those of you that are watching, these adjectives are improvised on the spot. Thank you, because that's what improv is.
I was gonna say, it was like, yeah, you're sort of you don't have to explain to me what improv is.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like I really should like think of them ahead of time because I could probably come up with like adjectives that I know what they mean and or like really like legit adjectives. But you know, I've had a range. I've used nouns to describe as adjectives. I used like dulce de leche once, and I was like, sure. That sounds great.
Yeah, I get that. They're like lacquered and caramely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Lacquered. What a word. What a word.
I've got a lot of. I'm really good at vocabulary.
Hey, I'm good at spelling. You give me a word, I can spell it because I know lacquer has a CQ in it.
It does. You're right.
LACQUERED. Lacquered.
Were you in your spelling bee?
Which is different than liquored.
It is. You're right. You're right.
Yeah. I won my 5th grade spelling bee with the word chandelier.
Pretty good.
And I had never heard the word before, and I spelled it correctly. Actually, that's a lie. I knew about it because you remember the game 13 Dead End Drive?
No.
It's like it was like a new version of Clue, but for like younger kids. But like, and there was like a chandelier room or something, and it had the word chandelier on it. So I knew it from that because I had seen it written out on the board. That game is also apparently out of print, and I still have it.
Wow.
So, it's worth like millions. Just kidding. And then in college, I did a charity spelling bee fundraiser, and I got 2nd place because the person that won, I still to this day am really like upset about it. Her word, like before my word, her word was like entrepreneur. She got it right, and then I went up and I misspelled my word. And then she spelled mine correctly, and then they gave her like, okay, you have to spell another word for the winning word. And the word that they gave her was entrepreneurship. And I was like, really? She just spelled entrepreneur, and you're giving her entrepreneurship, and you gave me some word that was like not even similar. It was like nasturtium or something. I was like, really?
I was gonna say, like someone had to flagged it.
No one did. Although I will say, I ended up getting out. It was the word nasturtium. I ended up getting out, and they were like, they played the little like Google Translate. It was like nasturtium, and I was like nasturtium, and they were like nasturtium. I was like nasturtium, and they were like, yeah, that sounds right. I was like, okay. So then I spelled it, and I spelled it like ION or IUN. And they were like, that's wrong. And then at one point, like some other people like went in, they got out, or then they go, Spencer. And I was like, yeah. They're like, you're back in. You never actually pronounced the word correctly, so we can't fault you for misspelling a word that you never pronounced correctly. And so it made sense because I was like, I never said nasturtium. I said nasturtium the whole time. So I was going to obviously spell it with an N at the end because I had never said nasturtium.
Yeah.
And I made it very clear. I was like, nasturtium.
Yeah.
Nasturtium. And they were like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And so I never said the word right. Anyway, enough about the Improv Summit Spelling Bee edition. Let's talk about. Wait, did you do a spelling bee?
I did in middle school. Like it was the pipeline ones that get you to like the Scripps ones. And the first round and when I was in 5th grade, I got out on Bonanza because I didn't know it's B-O, not B-A.
Like banana with a Z.
Exactly. That's what I would have thought. But and then every teacher was like, no, it's like the television show Bonanza. And I'm like, I'm in 5th grade. I am 10. Why would I know Bonanza?
The show
I'm
ended in
a
like
Love
the
Boat
70s.
guy. And then on in sixth grade I got out on pumpernickel. And yeah, I don't remember the specifics after that, but those two I'm like, oh, that's a little tricky if you're a child.
It makes me think of middle school was a dreaded nightmare for me. I remember, I think it was like sixth grade, seventh grade. I don't remember why. Like, I think I only remember 2 years that I did it. Maybe I didn't do it in eighth grade, but in sixth grade, one of the words I got was mohair, and I had never heard that word before. Mohair, Mohair. It's like a mohawk, but it's not a mohawk. It's just a hair that's like a mohair. It was weird.
You haven't described the word. You just said it's like a hair that is like a mohair. Like, you can't use the word in the definition, Spencer. I don't know what a mohair is.
I literally don't, like, I did not know. And I was like thinking, like, in my mind, I was like a mohawk? And it was Mohair. It was literally mohair, like mohawk, but hair. And then I think it was sixth grade, I had the word fiery, like, like it's a fiery light. And I, in my mind, went fiery, and I said Firey. And it was Fiery because that's how the English language is very not how you spell things.
Yeah.
And so then in seventh grade, I got the word firing, and I went, fiery, I know how to spell this. I didn't even listen to anything she said. Mm-hmm. She was giving a definition, and I literally went, fiery, I know how to spell it, Fiery. And she goes, no, the correct spelling is Firing. And I was like, oh, bummer. Because she was like, I'm going to give you the definition and the sentence because you can't accidentally mishear the word. Because it was like, the firing of the gun hurt Johnny's ears. So I couldn't have said, oh, I thought you said the fiery of the gun, because that makes no sense. And so I got out, and then I remember in fourth grade, everyone was trying to spell the word business, and everyone got that word wrong. And then I went to me, and they were like, you have 10 seconds to spell the word business. And I went, time, you're out. And I was like, you're not even letting me spell the word. And then they moved
also
on.
Wasn't 10 seconds.
After me, they moved on to another word, and I was so mad. I was like, you're not even, like, what? You're moving on to another word now?
As you should be mad.
I was so mad. Like, right after me.
I like how we dovetailed into this with you saying, okay, enough of the Improv Summit Spelling Bee edition, and then we talked about spelling.
It's okay, because it completely relates to the next question that I'm going to ask.
Oh, lovely.
Just kidding, not at all.
I believed you. Fully believed you. I was like, yeah, we'll see where this goes.
I'm an actor. No, it's so funny. I could get on a tangent about that, about people like, sometimes I audition for like mean like characters, and then I go to the audition and they're like, oh my God, you're so nice. And I was like, did you expect? They're like, we kind of expected you to be like not that nice, because the characters I was submitting for were like not nice guys. And so I was like, it's called acting.
Yeah,
you should try it sometime.
Pretend.
No, just kidding. Anyway, so speaking of acting and playing pretend, this actually pertains to improv. So let's talk about it. Yeah. All right. Cool. What a segue. Woohoo.
You're doing
Gordon,
great.
Why don't you talk about your improv background, your improv experience, whatever that means to you?
Yeah, sure. So I started doing improv like 8 years ago now. I started in college. I went to USC Fight On. Was on one of their house teams. And then on the side, I was like doing UCB and IO. I did all the theaters, and then I clicked with IO, probably the best. Oh, sorry.
I love how you said, I was doing it in college, and on the side I was doing UCB and IO, like just like the way it was just on the side. I was doing improv on the side.
Well, what's so funny? I guess in my mind, I was like that was the first and foremost thing, was like college, because I was attending the institution, and then I was like, and then I was studying studying. But like, yeah, I guess you're right. Okay, it was all sort of on net level, not even equal. One is like an institution, one is college improv. So like it's fine. But all this to say, that's where it started. And then I was doing indie shows and stuff. So I really just did, I jumped right into the circuit. And before, my background itself is in music and stand-up. So sort of I liked that version of performing because it felt a little bit more like a conversation, and it's more, not more fun, but it's less stressful to me to go out there and just do whatever. The stakes are a lot lower. And so that's the gist of my background. And then I don't know, I do that as of late, we're talking in the realm of a pandemic. I mostly do like podcast-esque improv. I appear on a lot of like podcasts on the HeadGum Network where I perform, but I haven't done like an in-person show since the world opened up, or an in-person improv show, I should say. So yeah, I mean, like I'm inherently rustier, but that brings us to present day. If that answers the question at all.
Yeah, I love it. It answers the question entirely. Everyone's just as rusted as a nail. We should all get our tetanus shots before stepping back into the world of improv.
Exactly.
Because of the rusty. I tried a dad joke. I try one, and sometimes they work.
No, I
You get
think
the
it worked.
idea.
It was really good. I think you shouldn't
Thanks.
provide meta commentary on yourself. I think you should own everything you say. I
You're
think
not
you
the first
should.
person that's told me that.
No, do not punches, Spencer. You said we all need to get our tetanus shots because we're all rusty. And that's great. That's a really good thing that you said. And you should say that all the time forever.
Great. I'm going to use it now as my catchphrase. It's going
And
to be on my
you'll have a
headshots
lot
now,
of
on my resume.
opportunities. Do people do that? Do people put their like catchphrases on like wow Georgetown? Like I don't know.
I don't know, but now I'm thinking like every time I go into like an audition, I'll just say, "Sorry, I'm a little rusty. I haven't had my tetanus shot in a while." It's just like,
yeah, Spencer, the pandemic was like 15 years ago.
and then they're gonna go. Thank you for coming in. We'll let you know.
Yeah, you were auditioning for the role of cool guy, and you've immediately butchered it.
I'm auditioning for the role of rusted nail. Thank you. No, anyway, that being said, improv is this interesting thing for a lot of people. Either I want to say like either you love it or you don't. I don't think like there's really like a middle ground of like improv's fine, I guess.
Yeah.
Like either, and so like for me, like I discovered my like at first I was kind of like improv, blah. But then I started to really love it for many reasons. Like it built my confidence. It allowed me to kind of meet like these like pseudo extroverted kind of people who would also just rather just live their lives at their house and not do anything if they could help it. Guilty. But for you, what do you love about improv? What kept you taking improv?
I think it was because the marked improvement. I think like the feeling, because the first time you do it, you're like, I get why this is fun. I'm bad, but I get why. Unless you're like the genre of person that has the hubris to believe like, and I'm great the first time, and you're just a natural savant. Actually, that person exists. Like I know those people, but this is it. Yeah, and I think like the more you learn about it and what makes you good is like the same things that make you good, like like an endearing person in life. And so they're all this, like it just teaches you how to listen, or teaches you how to like engage and be personable. And I think that like having from like sort of this robot social economic perspective of it's like not only am I just learning how to like have fun and goof off, but also like I feel I'm becoming a more engaging person. And I think that's what linked me to it. But I think it's interesting what you said about like you either love it or you hate it. Because I'm inclined to disagree.
Yeah.
Because I think like even the people who love it see it warts and all. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
I think like the institutions by which it's been sort of set up, like on its like macro ethos, it's awesome. It's so fun. It's goofy. But like given that it's been institutionalized so much now, I think it's like it's hard not to look at those things and be like, and that's flawed. And I don't like what they've done with that, but I love the art form. Or like I love performing. I do hate the tedium of going to an indie show or whatever. Like, but
Sure.
and maybe I'm just like a jaded guy in that way. And vice versa. I think like even people who are like, I hate it. Like you see those stand-ups who like make jokes about like improv's dumb. And I'm like, that's low-hanging fruit. Like, yeah, it's dumb, but all of this is dumb. Like, comedy's stupid. And so I think to go on like to that extent, and to say it's like dumb, it's like, okay, but you've probably like some of your favorite things are probably just like riffs and you off the top of the dome. And like that's charming. It's nice to feel like a genius, you know? So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I think if anything, it's more of a gray area of how you like it.
Sure.
That's
I think
obviously
yeah, I think I agree. I think there are times when it's like whenever I hate improv, I still know that I love it. I just am like frustrated with it. But I think it's like, I guess like it's just like I've never seen anyone go like, yeah, improv, like I've done it, like it's like cool, it's like whatever, like it's like I've never had anyone who was just like super neutral about it. It's like
that's a
I
good
guess that's
point.
I more
Yeah,
of like I should phrase it as like someone always has an opinion about improv, and
that's a good way to
it's
frame
never
it.
really like
Yeah,
a neutral opinion. It's not like improv exists. I've done it. It exists.
yeah.
Like,
It's either
like
you
what
have
do
an
you?
opinion or you don't know. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like what did you think about improv? Oh, I mean, I took a class. It was a class that I took.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
And did you like it or not? I mean, yeah, like it was fine. Like,
Showed up and paid the money, and there was like
yeah,
people there. Like, got it. So, like, I would be skeptical. But also, I guess if anyone didn't really have an opinion about a thing they did ever, I'd be like, did you do it? Like, I can't think of the
yeah.
last thing I had no opinion on. Um, like, unless I forgot it, which would be the case. But it's like there are very few things I am utterly apathetic about.
Sure.
I guess if anything, and this is sad, maybe there's people like who I'm like, yeah, they're fine. They're fine. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
whatever. Sure.
Where it's like they've got good and bad as people do. And when I am inevitably like not invited to their wedding or I see they have a funeral, I'll be like, congratulations, or I'm sorry they passed. And like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
or like condolences, or
Yeah, my
yeah, condol.
condolences. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
the
Am
only
I
word
gonna
I
get
think of.
canceled for that? For saying like
You
some
know,
people, if they die, it'd be okay.
it's a thing. I think I don't want to say I think. I don't want to say I know, but I feel like a lot of people have their list. Um, of
They
both. And I
have
mean,
the
on the other
list.
end, like even with like congratulations, there are people that like no matter what, if they're like, I walked outside today, I'd be like, oh my god, you're amazing. Like I would do that for there are
Yeah.
certain people where I would just like congratulate them. They're like, I woke up today and like put on glasses. Oh, you're the best. Like congratulations. Like
Yeah.
and like so it's like I think that there's like a list for like both. I mean, I would say like I wouldn't necessarily. Anyways, this is the whole conversation. Let's save it for another time
Sure.
because I could really dive into that whole
You could dive
scenario
into
too.
all the people you like and don't like, which
Yeah, exactly.
I would love to hear your list, Spencer. I
We'll
want to
talk off
hear
camera.
every opinion you have on every. No, I want it to be published. I want you to
um,
publish your list on your show, who you like and dislike.
just check the link down below in the comments and see if there's any names that appear. Like A Tale of Two Cities, I'm gonna knit them into the
Oh my God.
into the scarf, whatever she was making. I don't even remember. It was a long book. Anyway,
Sure.
speaking of scenarios and people, as you know, improv is very vast as far as like suggestions and things that you may run into. And I have a hard time remembering like scenes that I've done or scenes that I've seen, including ones where like I'm getting called back as a character and someone says something and I'm like, you gotta like jog my memory from 2 minutes ago of what I just did because I don't remember.
Mhm.
Um, but there are certain moments in improv, whether I'm watching or whether I'm performing, that I'm like, I remember this scene. I remember like what was happening in this scene, and a lot of times it's two-person scenes. I don't always remember group scenes either, but like two-person scenes, I'm like, I remember when you were this and I was that, and like, oh, like what a like chef's kiss, like what a beauty that was.
Yeah.
Are there any scenes like that for you that you remember, whether as a performer or as an audience member, that you're like, this scene was so great, I will never forget it?
I think it's like the scene for me, it's the scenes where like you because I also am partial to like smaller scenes. And I think if it's any time you've like created a visual, so like and like also when you're on such the same page as the other person and you are just messing with them, like rules are out the window and like we can do whatever we want. And I remember doing this scene with three people I perform with, and it was your classic like two people in like one's driving, one's in the passenger, whatever. This, I don't remember the content of the scene, but I remember part of the gag was like our sideline performers were like yelling from the side of the road, and so we had to keep like, we're like, oh, let's turn around, which resulted in like, to keep the frame of the painting, the sideline people had to move to the other side of the road theoretically because they would be like opposite us. And it required, like, we just kept doing that back and forth. So people are just running back and forth, and we're like making them, you have to do things to support the world. And I love, like, okay, great. Like, you're like, I love any scene where you're making your other partner's work, and it's like, you can tell. Or like when you pimp someone out in the worst way, where it's like, oh gosh, doesn't it make you want to sing? And like, you throw them and do that. Like, and it's, I love that shit, because sometimes it's great because it forces someone to act. Like, I know, like, I hate improv where you're forced to invent, because obviously it's like, that's not good. Like, it's all right there in front of you, you know this, like, all the information is there to pull. You're gradually pulling things in one at a time. You shouldn't be like, oh great, now we're in the rap battle, and like, it's like a hat on a hat on a hat.
But we're in the rap battle and we're doing somersaults, and now we're gonna like do the splits up on the trapeze. Go, like,
exactly.
Like,
and it's
calm
like,
it down.
once you know that it's like, don't do that to someone, but you're with like your friend and you're like, oh, I know they're good enough that if I decide to be bad in this moment, they'll still dig us out of it and it'll be fun. And I don't know, like, that's obviously not a specific scene in general, so it's a moot to your question, but I think that is the essence of things.
Yeah, and it goes along with trust. Like, I mean, I have a 2-prov team, and my teammate and I, like, it's like with like accents and dialects. Like, I'm not great with like doing dialects or accents, but a lot of times he'll like force me into it in a scene because he knows I will do it. I just am like not good at it. But it's not like I'm like, I feel so uncomfortable doing this. It's like, I'll do it. I just know that I suck at it. And like that's, and I think that kind of goes along with the accent, the aspect of like pimping a teammate, where I will not do something if I, one, haven't asked if it's okay for me to be like, hey, why don't you show me those splits that you can do? Or two, I will only do it if I know, like, oh, I know that they're a singer, and like, I'm gonna have them like sing in this scene because I know they like doing it. So I think that's like wherein that like lies, is like knowing when it's like, and like my 2-prov teammate and I like know what the other one will do and what they won't do, and so we can play with that. Even if I'm not great at it, there's still stuff that I will do. Like, if you ask me to do the splits, I can't do the splits, but I'll go out there and like do whatever, like, to make it look like a split. But I can't do it, but I have no problem with that. Like, but there are certain things where I'm like, please don't ask me to do that, because I just, I won't.
Like, don't make me be racist or whatever, but like,
right, exactly.
It's obviously a fine line, and it's not hard to pass, but that feeling of like, here's someone I trust totally, and like, whatever I throw at them, they can throw it back at me, and this sort of expectation of like, I don't know, it's that macro trust. It's those moments where it's like, we are putting the true trust to the test, and it works out, and it's like, great, we're having fun with one another. I don't care that there's an audience.
Exactly. That being said, let's just move on to very casual plugs and pitches. If you have anything that you want to share, that we can drop into the link in the YouTube.
For sure. So I I'm involved in the new season of Brooklyn Nine-Nine that premieres in October. I also was involved in a reality TV show called Domino Masters that premieres in September. So those are two exciting things. I'm doing a pop-up restaurant. Our next pop-up is August 7th. It's called Virginia Moss. The Instagram handle is at Virginia like the state, Moss like the growth _. In tangential to that, you can follow any of the food or wine that will go on there. I make my own wine and design the rest. I work with my friend Sarah to make wine and to work on some of those recipes. So you can follow me at Eat SEAT Crit George GEORGES SABA on Instagram. That's gonna have all the info. I could go on a whole diatribe of why that name is the name it is, but it's not a good name, and I've been saying I'm gonna change it for a year and I haven't. But that's the most. I'm so bad at plugs and pitches, Spencer. I'm so bad at it.
That's okay. That was great. I thought that was great. I also have a hard time. People think it's funny because I talk a lot, and sometimes I talk about myself, but I continue to talk about myself because I get nervous talking. So I just start talking about myself because I know what to say when I talk about myself.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's how I feel with like plugs and pitches. I'm like, come see these things. Okay, bye. Like, it's weird because I feel like I've built this like confidence of talking about myself, even though it's me going, I don't know what to say, so I'm just going to talk about myself because I know what to say.
Yeah.
And so that's where that is. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me here, George. I have one more question for you.
Please.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good seeing you.
It's nice seeing you too.
It's
been a while.
Yeah, very long while. I think Io was still around the last time we
Truly,
talked.
Yeah.
So it was a while. Anyway, no, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say it was I believe the last time I saw you in person was the IO closing show, and everything. That bar was crowded. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, that was
so truly RIP.
3 years ago, I think now at this point.
Yeah, February 2018.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So 3.5 years. I was gonna say 3.5 months. No, 3.5 years. Anyway, the last question I have on the Improv Summit is the reason why the Improv Summit exists. And, you know, a long time ago when we were in person and I was doing like IOs at City, UCB, all the different places, Rogue, Comedy Sports, Improv, like everything all at once. People were like, oh, you do a lot of improv. Where should I take improv? And it became a hard question for me to answer because it's a very loaded, leveled question. And if someone came up to you and asked you, where should I take improv? What would be like one piece of advice or one tip you'd give to someone to help guide them on their improv journey?
I think it would depend on what their goals were. Like, but I think you should just go to whatever place you think is funny. Like, because they're probably going to be more in line with what you want, as opposed to like, I don't know. I spent time at theaters where it's like I don't think this is like their metric is making for the funniest things. Like their formula doesn't necessarily distill it in the way I think it can be distilled. And ultimately, it's like you're just learning these rules so you can later break them. Like to the whole point about us talking about like pimping each other out. Like it's not hard and fast. You just need a baseline, and then you can be like, fuck, you're going to say, fuck it, I'm going to have fun no matter what, no matter how much you know. So like you might as well just go to where you initially found it fun and maximize that fun. So yeah, I won't stan a specific institution here or there. I'll just be like, go where it's fun. I don't care. I
love that. I've always said, not always said on this show, but a lot of times on this show, I've said, just if you're having fun, that's really what matters. Find the fun. Find the fun. Ooh, I like that. Find the fun. Ooh, nice. We just
you should write
trademark TM. I'm just the book is gonna be just like TM quotes that I've had from this series, like just consistently, because I keep going TM, and then I'm sure like it's already a thing. I'm sure "Find the Fun" is already a slogan for somewhere.
Oh, I thought you were making a joke. 100% "Find the Fun" is already a slogan. I just assumed you knew that.
What is that from? Like I know I've heard it before, but I'm sure.
Oh, it's like a thing I've been told in like every improv class. I thought you were making a joke. I thought you were like, yeah, I mean, the truth in comedy is another thing.
I'm like looking it up now. I don't think it's been like trademarked. So
sure,
like
yeah, you can trademark any.
I just TM'd it just now, so technically I own it. Right. So 25 cents every time someone says it. Woo!
I'm never saying it again.
Just kidding. Just kidding. I can't actually trademark it this way.
I'm just gonna say I'm gonna start saying discover your enjoyment.
Ease into enjoyment.
Yeah.
Not discover your doubts. Discover your delight.
Oh, you wanted it to be an elation.
Ooh,
interesting.
Discover your delight. That's a TM right there. Discover your delight.
That sounds like an ice cream slogan.
You know what? Hagen. If Hagen Dazs wants to use it, I put it here as a TM. Discover your delight. You can just let me know.
Haagen-Dazs's current slogan is "That's Daz," so I think they can use a better one. I think it's like "It's Hagen time" or "That's Daz."
Hagen time. That's funny.
But
anyway, we could talk about slogans all day, but we won't do it. Get it? Because it's Nike.
Oh, I didn't. And here's the thing:
we just won't do it. Anyway. Anyways, thanks so much for joining me here on the Improv Summit, George. I did say that was the last question I had for you, but as always on this show, I am like a Paul Giamatti, and I'm a big old liar. A big fat liar to be specific. I know. And I have and I have one more question for you. And that question is, we've been talking a lot about improv. You want to do some improv?
Yeah, let's do it. I was like, no, bye.
You're not the only one that's made that joke. But what you should have said, let's
cut it out. Cut it out if I'm not the only one.
You should have said, let's just do it.
Oh, great. And then wait, take it again. Feed me the line.
Hey, just, we've been talking a lot about improv. You want to do some improv?
Let's just do it. Like Nike,
great.
Get it?
Yeah, I get it. Let's do it. All right. All right, let's do some improv. What I need from you is to read this out loud. I was thinking something else and then it didn't happen. So I'm going to throw something in the chat that's super not specific at all. And I want you to read it out loud and we'll go from there.
Cool. I can read. All right. Thus
is the suggestion. So who would you like to initiate this scene?
I'll initiate. I made you initiate last time.
All right. Whenever you are ready.
My liege, what a glorious day in the kingdom. Why, the peasants are smirking, they're happy. They must love the new laws you've passed.
What do you want, Alexander?
Why, it's just such a joyous occasion, and I think you've done such a great job governing.
Enough of your chit-chat, what do you want?
I would like a raise. I've been a very good butler to you. I just think it's, I'm at my 6-month mark. I'm at the, figured we could have a little evaluation. I transferred from the other kingdom.
Did you say devaluation?
Re-evaluation.
A re-evaluation?
Just how I've been doing thus far, perhaps.
Oh yeah, you've been great. Absolutely great. Perfect. Have no qualms at all.
No qualms. So I was wondering if I could bump my raise from the minimum 12 shillings an hour to perhaps a 20 shillings.
How about 26?
Yeah. Yes. Wow. Wowee. Huh.
30?
30. Yeah. I could, sure.
Okay, fine. 35. Is that enough for you? 35.
35 is more than enough. Wow.
42?
40.
I can't lose you. Right? I can't lose you, Alexander.
I wasn't thinking of leaving. I just wanted to
51. 51. Final offer.
You know what? I took it at 35, but if you're offering 51, no point in walking
fine.
it back.
63.
63. I can do that too. I can look if this is as easy as you just getting to talk me up. That's beautiful.
What else do you want?
What? Well, I've been living in one of the gallows of the castle, and I was wondering if I could get one of those first floor spots with just even a window would be nice.
Yeah, how about a box seat?
Box seat? What? Next to the Colosseum? My liege, you're too kind. What?
I need to keep you. Please don't leave me.
No, hey. Well, hey, maybe, I don't know. There's some other kingdoms looking pretty...
Well, what else can I do for you?
Oh, I mean, I've been riding the same pig into town.
How about I give you 3 pigs? 3 pigs?
3 pigs? Well, could you do 3 horses?
Alternate. Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can. How about 5 horses? 1 for every day of the week that you work. And then you ride the pig on Saturday, Sunday.
What? So now I get weekends off? Huh. Well.
Oh, I wasn't thinking that, but if that's what you want, then yes.
Oh, well,
Please don't leave me.
In Chestershire, I've heard their butlers are only working 1 day a week, half days. So I don't know. Just that sounds pretty appealing to me. Got some pretty good letters of recommendation. I don't know if you got anything else to offer.
Okay, now you're taking it a little too far.
Well, I mean, that was just a joke.
So now we're back down. We're back down to let's say 13 shillings.
No.
No horses. Back to weekend work. And forget about the Coliseum seats.
Wait, sorry. What line did I? Was it because I brought up Chestershire? Was it because of Chestershire?
All right. So now you're working 6 days a week at 10 shillings an hour.
No, stop. I won't say the C word anymore. I don't even know what that is and who that is or that place, and I don't know anything of their working conditions.
9 shillings, 5 days a week.
What is it? Just because I'm talking, I can shut up, but I'm worried that if I do, then my rate won't get back to what I want it to be.
7.5 shillings and 3 days a week.
What? No, stop it. Please. I don't mean to be rude. Whatever you say. Do I get the box
So
seats?
free 1 day a week.
3 shillings, but I work 1 day a week.
Free.
Oh, I work for free.
Yes.
Then I should leave. At this point, I should leave, right?
Okay, fine. You can get the box seats.
Okay. All right. And what about my pay?
Don't push it.
Wait, sorry. So I'm now getting paid 9 shillings less, but my housing is better, and
It's actually 12 shillings less, and you get box seats.
Oh, I'm working for free still. Well, then of course I should leave. I'm working for free.
You still get the box seats.
Right, but I mean, there's a city that rhymes with Bestershire.
All right, no box seats.
Right, then I'm leaving.
The gates are sealed.
What? Oh, I forgot about
Final
the
offer.
gates.
Box seats or no box seats?
Box seats, please. Give me the box seats.
1 box seat a year.
What? You can't. Who taught you to negotiate? Where did you learn this tactic of just throwing out
I learned it from you, of course. You said always lowball.
Yeah, but you were initially...
Say more for yourself.
Is this what I get for having imparted so much wisdom on you? You know, my liege, you always, as much as I've only worked here 6 months, you have been like a son to me. My wife is barren like a desert. That's okay. We love just the same. I'm always creaming inside of her with no regrets. It's sort of nice benefit, but I digress. You have been like a little son to me, and I like teaching you how to handle financial woes.
Okay, fine. 2 box seats a year.
Yes, and my pay?
Don't push it.
Fuck.
Let's see. Thanks ever so much for coming to the Improv Summit. As always, I'm Spencer. That's George. See you next time. Bye.
Thanks.